Again, a great question. So by unfixable, in my mind, that means that it's beyond its useful life. It can't be repaired. There's nothing that we can do in the field to kind of bring it back to a point where it could take the loads that are necessary. So when we are having to condemn racks, which quite honestly, in our years of doing this, it hasn't happened a whole lot. But I would start by saying it has to be an engineer qualified in this space to be able to make that determination. So they're going to look to the extent it is too damaged, whether maybe if it's rusted for some reason because the racking was used outdoors or in a corrosive environment. They would look at a multitude of different things to see whether the rack can perform the way it was designed to perform, and that's what's key there. So there's the element of performance. There's also the element of, hey, look, if you've got a 24-foot tall upright and it's corroded up to 22 feet, it may still be usable, but to bring it back to where it was supposed to be would be too expensive. So we would also look at the economic aspect of this to say, look, you're probably worth not spending the coin on trying to repair this with an engineered solution. You may just want to replace it. So again, I'll say that once more, utilizing or going out to get an engineer qualified in this space would be the best thing to do. Going to the second portion of the question. So if a rack is deemed fixable, what's the best and safest way to do so? So out of the gate, what we always recommend, there's a twofold approach to that. One, if you have spare components or you believe it is better to replace that component rather than fixing it, make sure that you're replacing that component like for like. So if you've got a 96-inch beam, you want to make sure that that beam that you're replacing is of the same height and the same depth of what you had before, because any change in those dimensions will affect the load capacity of that load bearing component. So whether it's an upright, a beam, or other component as part of the system, replace that component with a component of same dimension, same gauge, same design, etc. If you want to go down the road, however, of using a repair and engineered solution, make sure that there's engineering behind that solution. Don't just trust a person down the street who's going to weld two tubes of steel together and trust that they are doing the right thing. Do your due diligence, evaluate that OEM and that person for the fix that they're going to perform, and you'll be able to determine whether that engineered solution has a value proposition that maybe outweighs what you may be faced with a replacement of the component. So that's how I would address those two questions, Eric.